A young man from a small country threw the most expensive parties the world had ever seen. He gave Paris Hilton a birthday cake. He partied with movie stars and rappers. He bought a super yacht, a private jet, a stake in a music label, and priceless art. And in the greatest twist in the history of financial crime, he used stolen money to fund a Hollywood movie about financial crime. It was called The Wolf of Wall Street. The money, all of it, came from a fund that was supposed to build roads and schools for the people of Malaysia. By the time it was over, somewhere around $4.5 billion had vanished from a national development fund, and the man at the center simply disappeared. This is the story of Joe Low and 1MDB, the biggest kleptocracy case the United States has ever investigated, explained so simply a 5-year-old could follow along. Let's start with the fund, because the fund is the whole trick. In 2009, Malaysia's new prime minister, a man named Najib Razak, set up a government investment fund called 1MDB. The idea was noble on paper: borrow money on the international markets, invest it in energy and real estate, and use the profits to develop the country. A piggy bank for an entire nation, funded by billions in borrowed money and controlled at the top by the prime minister himself. Now meet the man who wasn't supposed to be in charge of any of it. Joe Low, a round-faced, soft-spoken young Malaysian, still in his 20s, who had gone to school with the prime minister's stepson. Low had no official position at 1MDB, no title, no job there at all. And yet, from the very beginning, he was the one quietly steering where the billions went. Remember that. The person controlling the money had no name on the door. We have seen that before. It is always the tell. Here's the trick, the 5-year-old version. Imagine the school collects money from every parent to build a new playground. Thousands of dollars held by the principal. Now a clever kid says, "Don't worry, I know a great company that will build the best playground ever." Send them the money, so the school wires the playground money to that company. But the company is fake. It's just the clever kid's friend, with a company that has almost the same name as a real, famous construction company. The money lands in the friend's account, the friend keeps a little, passes the rest to the kid, and the playground is never built. When anyone asks, the kid points at official-looking paperwork and says, "It's being handled by our partners overseas." That is almost exactly how 1MDB was drained. The fund would send billions to what looked like legitimate partners, companies with names deliberately chosen to resemble real, respected firms. One was named to look almost identical to a genuine, well-known financial company. The money went in, and instead of building anything, it was passed through a maze of shell companies and bank accounts across the world, and came out the other side as Joe Low's spending money. And here is where the story stops sounding like accounting and starts sounding insane. Because Joe Low did not hide the money quietly. He set it on fire in the most public way imaginable. He threw parties that became legend. At one, he flew in Britney Spears to jump out of a cake. He reportedly ran up single-night champagne bills in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. He gambled millions in casinos. He bought a $60 million penthouse, a private jet, a $130 million super yacht he named Equanimity, and hundreds of millions in art: Picasso, Monet, Basquiat. He gave a Picasso to Leonardo DiCaprio as a gift. He bankrolled a jewelry spending spree, including a $23 million diamond necklace for a companion. And then the twist that makes this the most poetic fraud in the series. Joe Low and his associates put a huge amount of money, over $100 million, into a brand new Hollywood film production company run by the Prime Minister's stepson. Its very first movie, released in 2013, was Martin Scorsese's The Wolf of Wall Street, the true story of a con man who defrauds investors and blows the money on yachts and parties. Stolen money from a nation's development fund used to make a glamorous movie celebrating a financial criminal. The people who took the playground money made a film about taking the playground money. You could not write it. So who was supposed to stop this? The same 3 guardians who failed in every other episode, and one new failure worse than all of them. The bankers. A major global investment bank helped 1MDB raise about $6.5 billion by selling bonds to investors. They earned enormous fees, hundreds of millions of dollars, far more than normal for such deals. Some bankers inside the firm, prosecutors later said, knew exactly where the money was really going, and helped it along. The firm itself would eventually admit its role and pay billions in penalties. The gatekeeper wasn't asleep. The gatekeeper was paid a first-class ticket to look away. The auditors and the regulators. As with Wirecard, the paperwork was designed to survive a glance and never a phone call. Money supposedly sat in an overseas fund. It didn't. The confirmations were, once again, notes from the friend's house. And now the new failure, the one unique to the story. Because in every other episode, the referee merely failed. In this one, the referee was on the field, wearing a jersey. The Prime Minister himself, Najib Razak, was found by investigators to have received hundreds of millions of dollars from the scheme directly into his personal bank accounts. Roughly $681 million appeared in his account. His explanation at the time was that it was a personal gift from the Saudi royal family, and that most of it was later returned. Investigators did not believe it. When the country's own Attorney General began investigating, he was replaced. Officials who asked questions were moved aside. When the guard of the vault is also the thief, there is no one left to call. So how did it finally break? The same two forces every single time, a journalist and a run on the truth. A small financial news website called the Sarawak Report, run by a British journalist named Claire Rucastle Brown, began publishing leaked documents. Then the Wall Street Journal picked it up and reported the $681 million in the Prime Minister's account. And unlike a bank, a country can't freeze withdrawals to stop a run on the truth. The story spread. The United States Department of Justice launched the largest kleptocracy investigation in its history, tracing the money through more than 10 countries and moving to seize the yacht, the jet, the penthouses, the art, and the profits from, yes, the Wolf of Wall Street. And the people of Malaysia did the thing that no boardroom and no regulator could. In 2018, they voted the Prime Minister out of power in a stunning election. Largely because of this scandal, the new government reopened everything. Here's where the two men land, and it could not be more different. Najib Razak, the Prime Minister, was arrested, tried, and in 2025 was found guilty on all counts related to over $1 billion, sentenced to 15 years in prison and fined billions. A court formally ruled that Joe Low had acted as his proxy. The man who ran the country went to prison, and Joe Low, the round-faced young man with no title, who controlled it all? He was never caught. As I make this video, he remains a fugitive, wanted by Interpol for years, reportedly living under a false identity, by some reporting in Shanghai, with a forged passport and a different name. Billions of his assets have been clawed back. The yacht sold, the art returned, the Wolf of Wall Street profits forfeited. But the man himself simply stepped through a door and vanished, the way Marsalek did in Wirecard, the way the money always seems to in the end. So what does the man who stole a country leave us with? First, the biggest thief in this entire series had no title. Bernie was chairman of NASDAQ. Du was a CEO. But Joe Low held no office at 1MDB at all and moved more money than almost any of them. When you are looking for who really controls the money, do not read the org chart. Watch who the powerful people actually listen to. Second, a fraud can be too big to see. FTX collapsed in 9 days. This drained a nation for years in plain sight, financing movies and magazine covers, precisely because it was so enormous and so glamorous that questioning it felt absurd. The grandest scale is its own disguise. And third, and this is the whole season in one line, the difference between a con man and a statesman is sometimes just who is holding the vault. Every villain we've met wore a costume, cargo shorts, a turtleneck, a boater hat. This one wore a nation's flag. And when the thief runs the country, the only guard left is the people and the press and the slow, stubborn machinery of justice reaching across borders for a man who thought a forged passport could outrun it. 12 stories, one trick. From a Boston post office to a Malaysian treasury, the scam never changes. It just keeps finding bigger vaults and better costumes. And now, after 12 episodes, you can spot it anywhere. An impossible number, an invisible operation, a charming person who says, "Trust me and don't look too closely." That is the whole con, in every language, in every era. Thank you for watching this season. If these stories changed how you hear a too good promise, that was the entire point. Subscribe because greed is patient and there is always, always another one.